So, hello and welcome to the next episode of the Self Development with Tactics podcast. And we just go ahead with the obstacle is the way as the last two episodes. And then after I've just finished this book or this summary, I'll go ahead with the subconscious and the conscious mind book because, I quite feel like doing this book right now. I think, it's really contributing me and may even be contributing you as well. So, I think it's totally fine. So, chapter 25, the art of acquiescence, and I hope that I've I've stopped here because I didn't really know. I often just record, especially yesterday. Yesterday was a phenomenal day because I was just working at 1:30 in the morning, so or 1:30 a.m., which was just not the best idea because actually I pretty much like getting up fucking early. The thing is, I often just think about it like, yeah, it doesn't really matter if I just go to bed really late and wake up really late, or I just go to bed pretty fucking early and then I wake up pretty fucking early. So for me, it seems like, yeah, it doesn't make any difference. But the thing is, if I just really get up so early, I quite feel better. I do not know why, but it's just what it is, and it's actually some kind of feeling that you're ahead of everyone else. So because no one is awake at certain points. Maybe at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, nobody is there, which is something I deeply appreciate. And this is maybe one of the best thing of just having to wake up so fucking early because I have to. It's not what I want to do, but it's actually pretty nice because there's nobody outside. Maybe some cars, some random people, but nobody who is quite bothering you or some kind of getting on your nerve. There's just no one, which is for me pretty nice to really just have this one thing in the morning so that there is quite nobody, because the whole day long there are then just so much people around you, which is for me great. But let's see. So if someone took traffic signals personally, we would judge them insane. Yet that is exactly what life is telling us. When faced with an obstacle, it tells us the way is blocked and you need a detour or just a way to overcome it. No arguing, no depression, you simply accept it. Take people and events as they come and move around them. It's only a bump. This is actually a pretty good advice, and I think this whole metaphor with the traffic signals is a pretty good one, because yeah, actually everybody just accepts them. But in terms of everything else, everybody's just complaining and being like, yeah, I'm such a um, you know such not a bad person, but my situation is so bad, and I don't know, just like complaining and dwelling around and some shit like this. And I've been the person yesterday as well. I've just worked, I wasn't feeling good mentally and or physically because it's just so fucking related to each other. Um, but, dwelling doesn't get you anywhere, complaining as well. It's just, losing or just taking up a lot of energy of you that you could have put into what you're working on, or just using it and transform it, because you can't destroy it. You can only use it and change the way you're kind of accepting it. Yeah. So Ryan Holiday cities or the sites, whatever, Eisenhower, when he said, "Everything we could think of has been done, the troops are fit, and everybody is doing his best. The answer is in the lap of the gods." Yeah, there are certain things that you can't control, and there are certain things you can control. And so by forcing yourself to only think of the things you can actually control is a pretty good way to start, because, it's just, give a fuck about what you can't control. So why would you be dwelling about like what's the weather being? It's like what it is. You can't do anything about it. So just do not complain and use your energy for something else. But I'm just looking outside of my window and I just see that the weather is quite great today. It's a blue sky, a few clouds, and I might even get outside after the recording, even though I oh my god, I do have to do quite a lot of things, especially for school, which worked out pretty good lately or in the last few weeks, because I, fortunately enough, just started this whole journey of me being here, of me having the podcast and all these things, in a period of time where school wasn't that taking up so much time. There are certain periods where it's just every single day you have a test and or an exam or whatever, and so I'm quite happy about that one, and I'm quite looking forward on how I will just be if these phases come again, and how I will manage to do everything. But I know that everything will be fine at the end. So, but it will be definitely an experience with time management especially, and yeah. So, and he explains those were not the kind of men to just hope for the best or hope for the best, sorry. But at the end of the day, they understood that what happened would happen, and they would go from there. Yeah. Chapter 25, love everything that happens, amor fati. After you accept that some bad things will likely happen and it might be outside your control, here's the big one. Love whatever happens to you and face it with unfailing cheerfulness. Which is actually a great advice, even though I would have just, kind of told it some way different, because I think there's always some kind of perspective you can have on things and scenarios and objects and people that leads you just to a positive outcome, which is the same thing with this. You can be like, yeah, the weather is bad, so I can't go swimming today if it's summer or something. But you could be at home and, do not feel bad about working on your things, because for me, it's always the thing like, if it's just pretty fucking nice weather outside, I just feel very bad that I'm sitting at home working on my stuff, because I feel like, yeah, I could go and ride my bike, and I could go swimming, and I could go this and that. And so if just some bad weather comes up, I'm quite like, yeah, you know what? Now I, do not have to feel bad for just doing what I do. And, there's always just some two perspectives. I'm just thinking about if there might even be a third one, but I actually think these are only two. So you just can think of everything negatively or positively, and I would suggest you to choose the positive one, because it might make you happy, might make your life, or not might, but it will definitely make your life more, more nice, more happier, more everything, quite. So we don't get to choose what happens to us, but we can always choose how we feel about it. And this is actually something that's, Tony Robbins has really been emphasizing it and really been talking about it, that, certain things just happen, and, there's quite a lot of things happen in your life, and it always comes up to how you think about these things and not what these things are, because we are actually the persons who are giving the meaning to the certain events and or scenarios or objects or things. It's just us, and so it's just you and me and all the other person who is just, or who are just, really then choosing how to think about these things. So a good example might be, yeah, you lose your phone. One person might be, yeah, I'm so fucked up, this is my life, and these things. And another person might be like, yeah, this is good because I'm not distracted right now, and I can't get distracted in the long run from now on, because I do not have a phone that will distract me. So yeah, and this is also some kind of related to the positive and negative perspective thing. Yeah. So we don't get to choose what happens to us, but we can always choose how we feel about it. And this is a pretty important one. I'm just thinking if I should actually post it, because I think I'll tweet it, and I hope there will not. No, I would have to log in. So no, never mind. So chapter 26, perseverance. And I've never known what this means, actually. So I'm actually going to use the DBAL website, which I haven't been also thinking about, or just making my researches about, if it's really perseverance. Yeah, definitely an important thing, because if you just really can go through and really stick to things, this really create your habits, and habits are the things that quite, at my point of view at least, determine your fucking life. It's just what I think. And, it makes sense because the things you do every day really determine how your life will be in the next 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. For example, if you just start investing today, you might be a millionaire in the long run, but if you do not start it today, the chance is never there that you get a millionaire by investing if you don't do it. So yeah. So perseverance is more than persisting at your problem. Persistence is a matter of action dependent on energy. Perseverance is a matter of will, and it comes with endurance. They work in conjunction. Perseverance is the long game, not just round 1, but round 2 and every round after. It's a belief that eventually somehow you'll get there. And this is actually the thing, and this is something that's quite a little bit pissing me on about myself, because I just really stick to things. And I would quite never think about things like, it won't get me anywhere, I give up. I would never just think about it like this. But the thing is, sometimes you have to give up, and sometimes you just really be truthful to yourself and be like, this isn't leading to anything. Just let it be it and work on something else, and this would then be much better. The thing is, in terms of these decisions, it's always like, you could do this thing and you could do that thing and you could do the other thing as well. So it's just some kind of matter of, flipping the coin and just really seeing what then will happen, because you will never know what the right answer would have been. You can never know, actually. I've read that one. So chapter 26, and there are as well just a lot of fucking chapters in this book, and I do have to look at it now afterwards and see how old it is, because it's quite interesting that most of the time the really old books, like How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is I think from 19 somewhere, most of the time these are just really great books in terms of definitely not technology, because then they would be just pretty out of date, but in terms of really how you deal with people, how you know yourself, how you deal with yourself, how you deal with obstacles. These books, in terms of these topics, they are just pretty good, especially or even if they're old. So stop thinking of yourself at all the time and putting I in front of all the events. I did very well, but I deserve better than this. No wonder you take losses so personally. And this is not also in terms, or not always in terms of, you will take everything personally, which I'm, pretty excited about then reading about it. But the actual thing is, just talking about yourself won't get you just anywhere, because everybody's talking about themselves. So if you just, make yourself a scenario, and I always talk about the job interview. So if you are in a job interview and you're always talking, or all the time talking about yourself, your boss or maybe boss might be like, so why would you then just, be in my company if you're just thinking about yourself all the time? But if you're like, you're thinking about the company, and if you're thinking about how you could contribute to the company and you could bring good value or big value to the company, then the boss or maybe boss might be, a little bit more considering you, just putting you into their game, because it would make sense for them, because if they know that you want to make something good for their company, why would they choose someone else who is just thinking about themselves? It makes sense. The thing is, because it's just, just rushing into my mind, you can never really make someone be as excited about your firm or your company or whatever you're building up as you are. Because, it's not their idea. It wasn't their idea. And people are just really, really just, really thinking about their ideas as, this is my idea. My. And this is important to people if it's their opinion. Not their opinion, but their idea. So no wonder you take losses so personally. And stop pretending that you're going through is somehow special or unfair. It's totally not, because, you could have it worse or just really bad right now. but some people are just at their worst right now. Some people in Africa or all these poor countries have it so fucking worse now. They do not have anything to eat. They do not have actually a toilet, which is actually something that I've been really finding so great from Bill Gates, that he is actually planning to really give people in poor countries toilets, because it's actually some you wouldn't just shit somewhere and then maybe just put earth on it, or just dig it in so that it doesn't stink or something. This is something you wouldn't like to have. So I really appreciate that he is doing something against it, even it is just something so simple, but it's actually so important. Yeah. So hundreds and thousands before you felt the same and had the same thoughts. They had no idea that you would exist, and a century from now someone will be in your exact same position. Which leads me to the view that it is actually always some kind of valuable what you can tell other people, or you can tell the world through the internet, for example. And this really kind of underlines me and my doing what I'm doing right now, because someone eventually just comes to my episode and will find just this kind of information they, or he or she, or maybe it, if it's a robot or robotic kind of human being, a cyborg, I don't know. They will definitely then be just pretty pumped about the information they get in here, even though I might be thinking like, yeah, man, I do not think like if this is something like that could contribute someone. Only because I'm thinking it doesn't mean that everyone else is thinking it. And only I think this is something that's, just quite common sense to me, doesn't mean that it is for all the people. Which means that if you have something, and if you have a page, and if you have a channel, and if you're a musician, for example, just put out the things. Not only, just because you do not like your music or the song you just made doesn't mean that everybody else doesn't like it. There will eventually be someone who is really pumped about it. Yeah. Embrace the power of being part of a larger whole. It's an accelerating thought, or accelerating thought. And do something helpful. Think instead, if I can't solve it for myself, how can I at least make it better for others? Which is actually just science. Scientists maybe haven't found out something now, but they're just really building the fundamental for the scientists that will come in the near future, or in the just long future, or quite away future, which is then pretty important for them. So then you quite just be like, yeah, everything you do is just some kind of important for someone. It is just it. So this new shift in perception will immediately shift your thinking into a new gear. All of a sudden, you're thinking like a leader, and you're a person who cares, or who takes care of others, which is actually pretty important for me, because for me, and this is my belief, so if it's not yours, it's totally okay, it's only mine. At my point of view, helping people is one of the things that's really contributing to life, and can really just up your life immediately. Because if you're just working on something, and in your progress you really can help other people, this is just great for me. Because you can help others and you help yourself. And and this is actually what I'm trying, and something that I should remember or remind myself on every single time I'm sitting here and recording an episode. Every single time. Because it is important. Because, as I said before, some people might actually need this episode that I'm recording right now. Even though I might think like, yeah, it isn't the greatest episode I've done to this day, but some will need it. And I know that, if I just, be persistent and keep doing these things, I will get more attention. Definitely. Because by the end of the next year, I will have 2,000 fucking posts on Instagram. And, this is such a big number that it wouldn't make any sense for me to not get any attention of it, or through it. So, I just create something for myself, and I create something for others. So I'm even solving problems from others, and solving my own problems. Yeah, fucking yeah, man. Fucking yeah, man. It feels good just to help people's nevertheless, or anyways. It doesn't have to be like, yeah, you're getting something from the cake as well. It doesn't have to be this. If it just help other persons or other people, this is just uplifting enough, I think. So meditate on your mortality. No matter who you are and what your plans are, someone would kill you for a few dollars or a fix of heroin. Or a car can hit you in an intersection and that's it. It will be all over today, tomorrow, or someday soon. This is actually true, but I do not hope, and I really hope that you have the longest life ever. Because you are who you are. And I really hope now that you're so fucking happy as I am now to record this episode. You can't know, and I think you can't understand how great it is for me to just having an episode that's working quite well. I can think about and speak about certain things that I think are valuable to others and really feel it that, it's working. You can't, I hope that you can understand it because it's so uplifting. And that's why I really hope for you to be so fucking happy. So fucking happy. Because it's important that, at my point of view, with happiness, everything else comes. Just everything. Yeah, man. And I do just really want to hide myself because I'm always just looking at myself and not into the camera what I should be doing. So no matter who you are and what your plans are, I've read that, Christopher. You fucking piece of shit. Or take the clinchy question. Is it clinchy? Clinch? I think it's from boxing, isn't it? The question to ask, what could I change about my life if the doctor told me I had cancer? And the easiest, answer to this is just be healthier, eat healthier, exercise, do something for your body. Because at my point of view, it's just so interesting that people do not pretty much value their body. They value their cars and they give them such a good fuel. They, would buy the most expensive fuel because it's their car, but they're eating like shit. And so for me, it doesn't even make sense that people are like, yeah, I just, eat a chocolate now and then because, just I want to treat myself. Yeah, okay, but through chocolate and just through sweets, you can actually get pretty fucking ill. So why would you do this? It's the same thing like, yeah, I will smoke a cigarette now and then because I want to give me something. Yeah, it's just this short-term thinking. And I have been on a diet. I won't say diet because I'm just eating everything I want to eat, but I'm looking at or watching what I eat so that I only just eat things I would consider being healthy. Because it's important for me and I want to have a good life and I want to feel good. It's not always or not only because I work out as well, which then means that I look good. It's not even the case. The thing is I do just want to be healthy because I know what it is like to not be healthy and to be ill often, and this is not something that's really something you should chase. So yeah. After our answer, we inevitably comfort ourselves with the same insidious lie. Well, thank God I do not have cancer, but we do. What? But we do. Our destinies are already written, and it's not depressing, it's invigorating, and reminding ourselves will help us tread our time and life as a beautiful gift, and it is actually a beautiful gift. And this is something that might be interesting. In school, we have actually religious lessons, which means that we don't pray there and do some sort of things, but we just read through, I don't know, how should I say, ethics and all these things. And so there I've just been reading something about an African tradition or African religion or ethics or whatever. And these are all about, really having the life and really just taking care of your life also in the short term and in the long term. And the most valuable thing for them is just their life, which is actually something everybody should be thinking in this way, because you have actually one life, whether you just believe in you being alive after your death as well, it just comes up to this. But just have a happy life and Therefore, do not work on something you do not like because it's taking up so much time. And because I know that, you know, because I know that happiness is actually the only thing people will need. Because if you're happy, you will be successful as well. Because if you're happy, you will definitely then be working on something that you actually like, and everything is something that's contributing my or your happiness, and therefore the only thing I have to wish you is happiness, and this is what I wish you so fucking deeply out of my heart. From the bottom of my fucking heart, I wish you to be happy. Just to be happy. Because it's important. Because it's actually the thing, at my point of view, you need. Happiness. Just nothing else, straight happiness. Fucking yeah. But let's go on. So, yeah, I do not really get this paragraph, to be honest. Do not know, but it will also help create some badly needed urgency when we need to. Chapter 28, prepare to start again. Just when you think you have successfully overcome an obstacle, another one comes along. That's how it is, and that's what keeps life interesting. Which is totally true, if everything would go, a straight line, all the time, a little bit good, all the time good, it would be just, not that interesting. Or am I only the only person who's thinking about it like this? But it wouldn't be that interesting because, if you do not have the contrast between some things and some actions you take aren't just not working out and some are working out. So, you just have the contrast of, what it feels like to just fuck up and just, be on a down and, do not be happy. Then, you being happy is actually more valuable to you because you know what it is like, not to be happy. So, and as you are starting to adopt this mindset, that's what creates opportunities. One more obstacle and a bit more of the competition gives up. One more and it's just a few of you left. One more until there are only one left, the best version of you. This is actually true. So I just have to read it again. I'm so sorry, but I think it's great. One more obstacle and a bit more of the competition gives up. And a bit more of I now get it. One more and it's just a few of you left. One more until you're the only one left. The best version of you. Which makes sense. So this is actually then now the end of this article, and there is only left the practical advice or the practical applications from the author of this article, so the book summary itself. And so The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday is the ultimate problem-solving book because it deals with the mindset. Live, practice, and internalize these three mindsets and you'll reach new heights. Actually true. Looking at the obstacle mindset, you will look at the problem as an opportunity. Ask yourself, what can I learn? How can it make me a better person? Welcome adversities as a test and a chance to grow. No regrets, no what ifs, only the present, and you will stay calm and collected. Which makes sense if you just not be like, I might regret this one and I might regret that one, but you are like, what could I actually learn by doing this and by doing that and doing this and that and this and that? And you're actually like, you can only learn, so you can only win. Dealing with obstacle mindset, you will do your best no matter what. Not the impossible, just your damn best. You will look all the, this just, really reminds me on perfectionism, which is, you can do your best, but it will never be perfect. And that's it. So just wasting your time on these few percent that might, make your work even better, even though it's just, at your best, just takes up so much time. And this is some time you could use to create something new, something maybe even greater than the other thing. Fucking yeah. You are an unstoppable force indeed, and you appreciate the struggle in itself as a welcome occasion for you to prove yourself. With the first two, and so if you can't prove yourself, then you really know what you could or should work on. if it's really just the thing you want to be good at, then you really know, yeah. And that's why failure is actually a pretty fucking good thing. Because you know, yeah, you've done this and that, and these two things didn't work out. So what would you do? You will do something else, and you will definitely know what doesn't work. So you can actually be like, yeah, these two things you have just, just found out or just were thinking about to do, they do not work out. So yeah, unsolvable obstacle mindsets or obstacles mindset. With the first two mindsets of the obstacle is the way, you will forget ahead like never before. You will, I don't know. Yeah, I think forget ahead actually. But even when you fail, you are calm and serene. This is an opportunity for you to wholly change direction, regroup, or practice acceptance. You've done your best anyway, you don't have regrets. What's the next thing? Yeah, actually true. So this is quite a pretty nice quick summary. I just have to, maybe I can show you the whole one. So maybe you screenshot it and maybe you just, look at it and read through it every single day, which, would then make definitely be something that's, really going into your subconscious mind and then will just lead your inner game, which then leads your outer game. Which is actually, or was actually, the thing with the motivational speeches I've always been listening to as I started my self-development journey. It was always the same thing. I've been listening to them all the fucking time until I really knew what comes, and they got me pumped and they got me into feeling it. And in general, in feelings, they got me into feelings, and it was just nice for me. And it was actually the thing that Les Brown was even talking about in his self-development speeches or motivational speeches, is that you should never ever stop until you really just, you're just living what he's talking about. And, he's actually giving great value. Not like, you should do this and that and just talking about shit. No way. He's talking about great things, some things that can actually stay behind and say like, yeah, this is true. I would definitely, support that. For the most part, what I'm just thinking about. There may be some things that, for example, now, or especially now, I'm like, yeah, you know what, man, maybe not that good at advice. But, if you are pretty interested in what motivational speeches I have been listening to in my really early days, just, click on my channel if you're on YouTube, and if you're on any other platform, the best way is just to search for the links. I have anywhere, somewhere, and, just see for the YouTube link and then go to my playlists, and then there will be a playlist with all these motivational speeches I've been listening to. So there might not be all of them I've been listening to in my whole life long, because there were just pretty a lot of them, but these were these that, I've been talking or just listening to quite often, or just, especially in the last few chapters of my journey, which I am also in, because, my journey will never end. Just if you're interested, listen to them. I wrote about that The Obstacle is the Way is the ultimate problem-solving book. It is, but it's much more too. The Obstacle is a monument to human spirit and ingenuity. It's INGENUETY. It's a masterpiece of empowering mindsets, applied philosophy, and beautifully crafted, uplifting poetry. Here are a few further comments for you. Grateful for adversities. It's true that your most glorious moments come after searing defeats, or when you snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, but also when you don't win immediately. Your adversities can make you a better person if you let them to. I am grateful for many of my darkest days. I did use many of them to become a better person, and I'm so proud for that. And I'm so proud for that. You can be too. And this is actually, the same thing I'm thinking about. I had my pretty fucking dark days, and these really formed my character and really, made me the person I am today. And I'm happy with who am I today. Definitely, yeah. And I think, and I hope that you can all also say the same thing. Like, yeah, you're just kind of proud of you that you actually are the person you are now. So the obstacle is the way expands also on entrepreneurial mentality. Ryan Holiday talks about how most of us have been taught of thinking realistically and how that's a huge disadvantage for building a business. I'll leave you with one last quote. See things for what they are. Do what we can, endure and bear what we must. What blocked the path now is a path that once impeded or impeded action advances action. That obstacle is the way. From Marcus Aurelius, which is, I think, if I do remember correctly, this book is some kind of based on Marcus Aurelius. I just have to. I actually want to. Meditation. Yeah, it's actually called Marcus Aurelius Meditations. And I think it is actually the power moves. There is actually a summary of it on the powermoves.com website as well. It's a pretty fucking good summary. It's a pretty good book. I've been going through it before, so in my leisure time. And it was quite great. Yeah, I can't, show it now. But it is a quite great book, yeah. I do not know much about it or do not remember much about it, unfortunately. But it was a great book, yeah, definitely. And there were just some kind of great insights of it. Even though some things I do remember weren't just something like in my opinion, but that's totally okay. You can never be like, yeah, this is totally what I would say, because then you might not be growing, just but it's actually important that you just look at it, look at everything just critical all the time, because you just really prevent yourself from just believing in bullshit and doing bullshit. And actually, yeah, that's why I really tend to only post things on my Instagram and say things that I actually believe in, even though they are from someone else, especially from Gary Vee or some other authors, or Will Smith, or all these great people, because I believe in them and I actually think, and I've maybe some kind of actually made the experience that they work. So I will never, and I really do not want to ever talk about or just support something that's totally not working. So yeah, this is what I do not know much, by far not much, and not everything. I know some things and I'm good at some things and I do have some kind of knowledge, but I definitely know not everything. So yeah. So what we are going now. So we've gone through this one, and actually I'm not quite into going through the subconscious and the conscious mind afterwards, or today as well, because yeah, I don't know, it's interesting, but it's not like that nice to go through, and because it's most of the time just text and just paragraphs where I'm like, yeah, okay, this is knowledge for me. And so yeah, so which is always kind of difficult for me, because if there are summaries I cannot talk much about or cannot add value to, it is something like I'm quite like, yeah, why I'm doing this, but the thing is, I know why I'm doing it, because it gives me value, because I didn't know it before, and it gives you value, it brings you value and me value. And so yeah, but it's always some kind of really position I put myself into, but that's totally okay. And so I think this will now be the end of the episode, and I hope you're doing so fucking well, and hope everything is good, and hope you are so fucking happy. And I say goodbye. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, a wonderful noon. Anyways, see you, and I love you.